YouTube and look at this Jeffrey Epstein thing right now. So let's start it up.
Amazon offers hourly employees health care on day one for the whole family.
Safety.
Should I go, Mom?
No, don't tell your mother anything.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it.
Imagine.
Meet Base 44.
Protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale
I
pederast.
think we're over here.
Said their
I'm already off
statements-
of this.
I know that, but their statements were made privately, and by publishing their statements, that could you could reverse engineer them explaining what happened to them to create a frame of reference of when it happened, and it could reverse identify them. That's the reason why.
Evidence that hasn't been published.
Just ask them.
Including, quote,
Yeah.
Epstein kept video cameras in most of his residences, and Epstein's autopsy, nor the report of the investigation into his death, has been made public. So while there
Why
may not be an official client list to be released, as the administration is now saying, there's a lot of extra information that is not being made public.
Yes.
Despite Trump's Justice Department basically now saying case closed. This isn't going to go away.
I think we need to keep putting pressure for this. This is why I'm going to talk about this until I'm either bored or until something happens. Probably until I'm bored, but hopefully until something happens.
Pam Bondi went on television and said, I have a videotape of kids getting abused. I followed this case closely. And I know a lot of the people involved, as I've told you.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. I didn't know that. Really? Thousands of children got raped?
Yeah.
Who raped them? Where are the rapists? Like, why aren't they in jail? What? This
For
is the
life.
Department of Justice.
Yes.
That is so crazy. This is honestly one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
He's right. This is, in my opinion,
Oh fuck! I
this
switched
is
my.
more sus than 9/11 by a mile.
Yeah.
It's more sus than 9/11.
Somewhat.
It's more sus than Iraq. This is crazy.
And I just think it's very
corrupt.
dangerous
Yeah.
to play around with this stuff.
That's
like,
a fact.
Very dangerous.
Well, it's.
I don't want a revolution, but if you wanted a revolution, this is
You
how
do
you would
that.
act.
All right, Jamal, what do you think hearing that from Tucker?
Well, first of all, Tucker is being dangerous by alluding to something like a revolution. When we're talking about
CNN never does that. They never, ever do that.
the MAGA people, because we know that MAGA forces have been willing to use violence in pursuit of their
That's
political
fucking
aims.
retard.
Then why didn't so if MAGA people use violence in pursuit of their political aims, why
Well-
is it that all of the Teslas got burned down
gonna say
when
that.
Elon Musk was on the same page with Trump?
For
But
reals.
when Elon Musk literally made a public statement implying that Trump was a rapist pedophile, not a single Tesla got burned by any of the MAGA people. Isn't that interesting? That's crazy. What are the odds of that?
Wow.
Saw it on January 6th. You know, Gretchen said something a second ago.
The original sin. The only sin, by the way. The only point that they can really look at, as this was the last, the one stupid thing that happened 4 years ago. This is like, okay, everything is all based off of that.
About is Trump covering.
There was like
Pam Bondi.
actors.
But the question
There was
also is
confirmed
Pam Bondi
FBI
covering
actors
for
in that.
Trump?
That's a good one.
We just really don't know.
Nobody
Donald Trump has
knows.
been very forceful. He's a great television performer. When the question of Epstein comes up, every time He dissembles. He attacks the reporter. Remember before?
It's true that he's right about this. Like what he was saying earlier was bullshit, but he's right about this. Trump, he doesn't do a very good job answering this question.
Release the UFO files. He'll release the JFK files. Will you release the Epstein files? Well, I don't know if we should, do that. Innocent people may get wrapped up in that. I just think something's going on here. We got to keep asking the questions until we find out what's really happening, and they should just release the files.
Ladies, welcome. Jesse, did you have sex with Marciano?
They should.
I mean, right.
He's
that
right.
seems to be the point, Gretchen. At this point, and this is something that has been spun up, right, by some of the very people who are now saying. I mean, when Kash Patel and Dan Bongino came out,
this is a great episode of America. You should wait for the season finale.
Recently, and tried to downplay the Epstein files.
It references
they were eviscerated by the MAGA base, right? And now this is putting the whole thing on steroids. Far-right activist Laura Luma, Gretchen, we know Trump listens to her. She has been hammering Pam Bondi on social media. She posted, "How come we can't talk about what a dumb, lying bimbo Pam Bondi is? JD Vance, please encourage President Trump to fire Pam Bondi. She's a disgrace." So.
She's not the one that made this decision. Like, I agree that she's ineffective, but she didn't make this call.
What do you hear when you hear this? I mean, look, Laura Loomer, we know, has had very specific...
Why does Bimbo come into it? This is just what girls do. It's just what they do.
Tangible influence on Trump on big decisions.
Yes, in national security, specifically in the last few months. I do think she has Trump's ear. So, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Trump seemed to be protecting Bondi today. But I think one other really important point is in this second administration, we have seen a lot of MAGA supporters of Trump come out and be totally against him on really big issues. And what I think is fascinating is that he can go after people who are in groups, like lawyers, like members of Congress. I'll primary you if you don't agree with me. But with these single influencers, he's not doing that. And I think that...
because he can't. Like, it's a lot easier. Like, if somebody like me was running for office, bringing this shit up, he would be talking shit about me. But he can't do that. It's just some Twitter page. You can't do anything about it.
Raises a huge question about whether or not he has the power to actually silence them.
Right, and Jamal, I guess
he shouldn't have the power. Like, he doesn't have the power to silence the politicians either. He's just funding his opposition. Like, that's like, he doesn't have the power. Like, is this some kind of like a play? Wow, Trump is such a pussy. He's not taking away people's freedom of speech. What the fuck are we talking about?
The question is there really no there? Or is the question, who is covering up for whom?
That is the question. Listen, what is sobering is that Donald Trump, if this were normal times, Donald Trump, he's turned around on Ukraine, and there are people in MAGA who are upset about that. He was in this relationship with Elon Musk, who's now turned on him. He wants to start a party, and so that could maybe peel off people.
We gotta think about that Elon party, man. Like, that's I don't know. I mean, somebody said the treasurer from the party was from India. Like, I don't know. That's a bit weird, right? But like, in a general sense, like I do think that Elon is right that the party needs to be changed. I think that he's wrong that you need to make a new party. I think that the Republican Party pre and post Trump are two different parties. I think that you need to rebuild the existing party rather than try to make a third party, because historically every time that's happened, it's been bad. That's my opinion.
Now we've got the Epstein files, or all these things that would normally take down a regular
I agree
politician.
On principle, not
Donald
practice.
Trump seems to be able to survive these things. I mean, he's such a political force, it doesn't really matter. But what does happen is the people around him are the ones who catch the brick. And so the question for Pam Bondi is this going to limit her ability to either be an effective attorney general or to even keep her job as her?
No, she was already being ineffective to begin with.
As attorney general.
Yeah, no, she was already being useless before this. This isn't going to affect her ability to be useless. I think that she's going to continue being useless even without this. Yeah, that's not true at all. The establishment wants you to believe in reform. Nothing ever changes. I think that it's pretty obvious that like a lot of the Republican talking points changed after Trump. Whether you like that or not, or agree with that or not, I think it is true. It's definitely true. So a three-party system is botched. Yeah, 3 parties are the worst. You need 4 or 5 parties at least. Yeah, I mean, I personally think that Republicans used to care about states' rights, freedom of speech, and a tax deficit. Republicans used to care about a lot of things. Now they don't care about as many things. It doesn't matter. Like, things always change, right? It's always, it's shifting, right? Why does everyone hate her besides the list thing? Because you got these fucking crusty-ass fat kids with blue hair and nose rings talking about killing the president and nothing happens.
Yeah, for real.
That's why. I'll be right back.
Here's how I aced my midterm project with Adobe Premiere Pro. Beautiful shots, but too noisy, right? Enhanced sound fixes it, and bam, just like magic. And done.
I don't think that we should ever stop complaining about it. Never stop complaining about the Epstein thing. Oh, here we go. We got Tucker Carlson talking about it too. Let's look at this.
The people don't matter.
Let's look at this.
For a bunch
Oh
of
my
reasons,
gosh.
It's so obvious. It is salacious. People have followed it for years. The president promised to reveal the truth about.
You know something else? Ever since this whole thing started getting to be a big deal, I've been seeing a lot more lizards lately. Like, every time I go outside, there's like 2 or 3 lizards. Me too? Huh. That's crazy. Where do they all come from? I don't know. It's just crazy.
And Bondi, as you said, on television, so we have the truth. We're going to give it to you.
Yes.
I think this is I think this is a big deal. It's a really big deal. It's bigger. I hope so too, actually. So let's just assess this logically.
Very big deal.
They're covering up. The DOJ, the current DOJ under Pam Bondi is covering up crimes.
I think somebody's getting covered for. I think I do. I think that there is a 0% chance that nobody is that there's actually no leads. No fucking way, man.
Very serious crimes by their own description. Why are they doing that?
It's Trump? No. If it was Trump, Biden, dude, they gave that guy 34 fucking felonies. They arrested him. They gave him a mugshot. They did everything. If they could have gone after Trump, it would have been, they had 4 fucking years to do that. It could be Trump also, but it's a lot of
really only 2 potential explanations that I can think of. Maybe you've got another. The first is that Trump is involved. That Trump is on the list. That they've got tape of Trump doing something awful.
Yeah.
I don't believe that for 2 reasons. One, I've talked to Trump about it a lot.
So Trump said he wasn't on the list. All right, Tucker.
So what's the verdict?
Gorgeous.
You're looking incredible in that dress. This whole outfit makes you look like an angel sent from heaven. You always look pretty, but you've really outdone yourself this time.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking settles it. Oh, shit. Okay. Wow, case closed. All right. Trump said he wasn't on the list.
And I know him. He's not that, for whatever his sins. I don't think he's that guy, actually. I don't think he likes creepy sex stuff. That's just my view.
I mean, but if he, isn't it weird though that he made like a lot of comments about women? Didn't he make sexual comments about his own daughter when she's like 13? Like, I mean, I'm not a Trump hater, right? But like, I remember when that happened. Yeah, like, I mean, who does that? It wasn't his daughter? Oh, that makes it so much better.
But more, I think, convincing is that this is all information that the Biden administration had. And if there was evidence that Trump had been involved in illegal sexual activity,
this one makes more sense.
You think the people who made up Russiagate wouldn't have leaked it?
Exactly.
Right. Come on now.
They would have leaked it.
So the only other explanation that I can think of, again, maybe you've got another, is that intel services are at the very center of this story, U.S. and Israeli, and they're being protected. I think that seems like the most plausible.
That's the most obvious. They have a history of this.
Nope. I don't. I think they're both wrong. I think the reason why is that everybody inside of leadership, inside of all Western culture, leadership, fucking Great Britain, the UK, Europe, fucking France. Where are some of those other bullshit countries over there? Germany. All those like NATO, all the NATO countries, like Australia. I've heard of that one. Australia's in Europe, right? I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. And so, and then America, right? I think that everybody is involved. I think they're all involved, and there is some form of third party, and it becomes increasingly likely that it is not Israel, but it is in fact China or Russia that has access to all of this data and information. And if one group leaks it without leaking everything, they will provide the full copy of everything that happened. That is the no fucking way. No. It's clearly Israel. The reason why I think that it's not Israel is because I think the Israelis were in on it. Bro, like, they're calling each other first names, etc. Like, really? Like, I think they were in on it too. So, and they're part of the Western world. So I think that it has to be logically, right? And I think that, like, so my second guess is Israel. My first guess is China/Russia. That's all. I'm not saying that you're wrong, okay? Like, that's still my second guess, and you could be right, but I think that it's one or the other. And there it is, or one of those three. And so that's the only reason.
There's just be elites from a whole bunch of different countries.
North Korea, bro. No, it's not North Korea. Like, nothing's happening in North Korea except for people being on meth and getting killed. And so that's it. It's intelligence-based. It would destroy all faith in our systems and institutions. I disagree with you. I think that if we found out that all of this was happening and then all the people that did it faced trial, it would actually restore more faith than ever, because that would be a degree of accountability. I think people for a very long time, and this has been going on, I think, ever since the Kennedy assassination. Okay. This is, again, like, I wasn't alive then. I know I'm old. I'm not that old. I wasn't alive then, but I think it's been going on since then that, like, as soon as, like, Lee Harvey Oswald just gets shot inside of the police station and he gets killed out of fucking nowhere, how the fuck does that happen? What are the odds, right? And he makes some shot from 1,000,000 miles away. And so I think ever since then, there has been a growing disillusionment that people have had with the with the government at large. And I think that it has gotten worse. Like, people think the moon landing was fake. They think Vietnam was fake. They think that us going to war in the Middle East was just for oil. They think Bush did 9/11 or Jews did 9/11 or, hey, why not both?
Dancing Jews.
And they think, all this stuff. And Vietnam, really? Yes. The Gulf of Tonkin, fucking yes, exactly. They said that's a false flag, 100%. So there is a massive amount of distrust in the government that exists at a macro level that is oppressive to all parts of government, and it makes people hate the government. The fact that they can't come out and just say, bro, this is what happened, these are the people, that is the exact opposite. Trust in the government, if you had to like fucking do a poll, I bet it is the lowest now than it's been probably in 50 years. Like, and maybe like, I don't know, maybe like right after something, maybe it was slightly lower. But I would say like on an average, I think it is just simply, is there a poll for this actually? Let me see here. Poll Americans trust in the government
trust polls
over the years.
Imagine being able to build anything, for any reason, in any style, at any scale, just by thinking about it.
Let me see if I can find. No. Let me see the. I just want the images. Wow. Okay. So I totally made this up. I completely made this up with literally no bearing, facts, or evidence whatsoever, and it turns out I was right. Yep. This is just a vibe. I just had a vibe. I was like, you know what? I think this is probably true. Yeah, it's 2015. Oh, you're right. Great point. Let's see. 2025, 2010s. What do we have? It looks like 2015. It looks like we're not. Maybe, you know what? Maybe they stopped doing these polls. Maybe they're like, guys, shut it down. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so Hispanic ad. This is, I guess, one example of it. Let me see. Open image and new tab. So we've got right here, Biden, I guess it went up slightly during COVID. I think this is just really a reaction to COVID and people wanting to be protected by the government by COVID. I don't think this really says a whole lot. COVID was lower. Yeah, but I think that really it probably went down. I think it's about right here right now. This is awful. It's real bad. 2023, how convenient. Makes no sense. Well, no, it does. Because anybody who expressed distrust in the government was suppressed and censored and shut down. So logically, it would make sense that the only people that you're seeing discussing this are people that are more positive about it. So yeah, the trust in the government is at an all-time low.
Been multiple documented cases of pedophilia.
Well, it's 10:30 already. I'm about to knock out. One and done today. Why not give it to the Mets?
If you know anything about history, you would know that Epstein is actually the first noteworthy person to ever be a pedophile in the history of mankind. Nobody in powerful positions ever did this in the past. This is the first time. That's why it's such a big deal.
I believe over a dozen cases. This was a BuzzFeed News piece years back where the CIA specifically did not want to prosecute those individuals in federal court for fear that they would reveal